5-1, playing against Austin Walker, who is playing a very straightforward deck here in green-red Devotion.
Yeah, main deck Ugin, main deck Crater's Claw, so some different numbers here, but much the same recipe.
We're underway here in round number 7 from Worcester. Patnode will start off with the Temple of Malady. Top card goes to the bottom. We'll see what Austin Walker can put together on his first turn of the game. It's an Elvish Mystic, arguably the best one-drop in Standard. Patnode also has one. He displayed his on turn number 2. Followed that up with a Sansep Citadel. To Walker, we will go. And of course, for Green and Devotion, the strategy is always the same. Just ramp into something big, and hopefully your opponent can't beat it. And that's the plan here for Walker.
And this is a matchup where the 2 copies of Mogis Marauder is going to be very reliable for Patnode as a way to win the game. I think this matchup is challenging for Green Devotion as they don't kill particularly fast, and they don't have a lot of workarounds for the rally kill.
For Walker, a Courser of Crewfix, head back Patnode's way. He played a Sansep Citadel, now he'll play a copy of Fleshbag Marauder. Fleshbag pretty good here no matter how you slice it.
Yep.
And we'll see what Walker does want to sacrifice. Patnode already sacrificing the Fleshbag Marauder. It looks like Elvish Mystic will bite the dust.
Which I'm sure Patnode is happy with. I think he's probably happier just playing a slower, more value-driven game because that's something where Abzan Rally is at its best. What he's got to be really concerned with is just Walker getting out in front of the board and killing him before Patnode can get a shop set up. So I'm sure Patnode is happy with that decision from Walker.
He doesn't want to see a card like Ugin enter the battlefield, which is on top of Walker's deck right now. The follow-up here for Austin is a copy of Sylvan Carry added. Courser of Crewfix will come into the red zone. Patnode's going to fall down to 18. Patnode will untap. We know he's got a copy of Eclectic Company in hand. Picked up a copy of Windswept Heath for the turn. And he'll play the Windswept Heath. He'll sacrifice that. Forester Plains on the way here for Nicholas. Considering a basic Plains, and that's what he'll search up. Perhaps it's time for a main phase copy of Eclectic Company so he can hit maybe those 2 of those Edict effects. We'll see. It'll be an Elvish Mystic. And the man left over to cast one of the 2 Eclectic Companies in hand. Now it's time to take a look at the top 6 and take 2 creatures with converted mana cost 3 or less. Place them on the battlefield, assuming that Patnode's able to find 2. Consult the grip before making his decision. Does have Shaman of the Pack over there and an Elvish Mystic, so Shaman of the Pack will trigger. And this is more of an Elves version of this deck, though it is in Abzan colors. Different than what Ray Todic won the tournament with, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Shaman of the Pack gives this deck the ability to kill in spots where the opponent can block through the Husk Mogis Marauder kill, or if they've been sandbagging a lot of removal spells. This gives you a way, if you have a big rally, to be able to win the game without having to use the combat step. You can also just get beatdown draws with this deck. Husk, Shaman of the Great Pack, Eclectic Company, you can, you know, it's not the primary game plan, but you can definitely kill people with that mixture of cards.
Oh, you can definitely play a normal game, for sure. That could be the plan here. So Walker going to sacrifice that. Wooded Foothills, get a basic forest out of the deck. Does not want to draw Ugin. So now we'll see a new top card here for Austin. It's a Nykthos. That'll be the draw for the turn. Next card, Whisperwood Elemental. Green Red Devotion just working towards doing its thing. There's a Dragonlord or Tarka or 2 in hand here for Walker. Got to be able to get to it, however. He's a little bit away from it.
And it also has to be good, and that's very challenging against Abzan Rally. You can wipe their board, and they can simply untap and kill you with Rally the Ancestors.
Walker will just pass the turn back. We had Patnode's way. Patnode ready to draw. Picked up a Windswept Heath. Curious to see what his turn will bring. We know there's another Eclectic Company over there, but that could mean really anything. Looks like he's going to start with a Windswept. He's sacrificed that, go down to 16. Forester Plains coming from Patnode. Get a basic forest. The follow-up is a Liliana. Okay.
Liliana pretty nice here. If Patnode can set this all up in one turn, as he can rebuy the Fleshbag Marauder. That's another removal spell.
Yep. Here's Collected Company. That's another Shaman of the Pack. An Elvish Visionary. That's another healthy hit. Gets to draw a card. Picked up another Collected Company. Love the attack here.
Great attack.
He wants it to die.
3 points is great for Patnode in this spot. And if he flips Liliana, that gets back the Fleshbag Marauder or the Shaman.
Yep.
Also good. Lot to like with this attack.
Yep, Courser's going to beat that. This is going to flip there. So now, Liliana's Planeswalker form has joined the battlefield. Also a zombie, too. I guess we can't forget about that. Going to cash in, get back Shaman of the Pack for another huge hit.
It's a very impressive dimension to this deck.
Yeah.
Patnode hasn't found Rally or Nantuko Husk and might just be able to win the game off of going wide and generating some Shaman triggers.
Yeah, it's just been Collected Company and kind of playing like a Black-Green Elves deck,
Yeah.
really.
It's been very impressive. You know, when we watched Tickle struggle with this deck at times, a lot of it had to do with there was only so many cards that made a difference, and when he didn't find them, his deck didn't do very much.
Yep.
Patnode is not having that difficulty this game.
There's Whisperwood Elemental. Walker up to 7 now. It'll bring a Manifest along with it. And it's a Shaman of Forgotten Ways. Top card of the deck is a Genesis Hydra. See if Patnode can finish things off just right now. Draw a card. We know he's got Collected Company in hand.
I think Mogus Marauder or a way to generate a Shaman are both kills.
Oh, this is an attempt to do so. Take a look at top 6. Don't think it worked out this time. Fleshbag Marauder and Elvish Mystic are okay, but not exactly what the doctor ordered. And actually, it's a Merciless Executioner, but all the same.
I mean, knocking a blocker out from Austin's side is not bad here when Patnode is probably just trying to attack, untap, and attack again.
Patnode does get into this great situation, however, that if he ever, if he draws Rally the Ancestors, it's probably over.
Yep.
Because he gets to send in the Shaman of the Packs, and he gets to send in all this stuff, and then if I ever draw Rally, well, I get to return all my stuff, triggers, and all that jazz. So here come your blocks. Some creatures are going to die here. Some damage will be pushed through. But it looks like this is exactly the sort of situation that Patnode wants to have occur.
Well, Walker's got a good follow-up coming on his side here with Dragon Lord Atarka wiping the board, and he can turn around and kill Patnode in 2 turns.
There's a Satyr Wayfinder. Going to turn over a couple of cards. No land to be found. Walker is down to 2.
But this Dragon Lord Atarka from Walker can put Patnode on basically rally or bust.
Yeah, that's the scary part of things. Because Nykthos is plus mana right now. It's only +1, but it's plus mana nonetheless. Shaman of Forgotten Ways is the more if that can help to cast the Dragon Lord Atarka as well. So Walker's got to do a little bit of math and figure out what he's got to do to stabilize onto this game.
Well, I think you can, if you want to, on Walker's side, I think you can knock out essentially the board. You leave the zombie, because that allows you to kill the most stuff. It also gets elves off the table, so Shaman doesn't necessarily kill you if Patnode draws it. You have Dragon Lord Atarka back to block, so you're not going to die, and you're at 3, and there's only a zombie for you to worry about. You get to attack this turn for 8, and then you have a Power Flyer in the air. So Walker's in a good spot here.
He doesn't take out all the elves. Leaves a couple of 1/1s hanging around.
Yeah, and this I dislike. I would have preferred to get the Shaman. I'd rather leave just the zombie in play.
I think I agree with you for the reasons mentioned.
I guess the logic there. Now, this actually is maybe a better play from Walker. It depends what you're trying to play around. This line of play allows him to beat Mogus Marauder. Although I suppose that Patnode's down to 1 black mana symbol anyway if there's only the zombie in play, should he draw Marauder.
Yep.
So I think this exposes Walker to Shaman without playing around anything necessarily.
Walker did miss his Manifest trigger. That could come back. Might give Patnode another turn to find a rally.
Well, that's actually a huge deal here because it's 3 blockers against 3 attackers on the ground. Dragon Lord Tarka isn't lethal on its own.
So that 2 points of damage is really going to be a big deal here, especially if Patnode peels Rally Ancestors next turn.
Yeah, I think Walker would have been better served just leaving only the zombie.
Yep.
He beats Mogus's Marauder. He beats a removal spell on Dragon Lord Tarka because he's at 3. And if he doesn't kill Patnode this turn, he's in trouble.
Walker going to go up to 4 now. Here's a bunch of mana. What's this? Genesis Hydra, perhaps? Yep. This will be for 6. Hornet Queen's in the deck. Pelucranos is going to be the hit. But Patnode gets to get a good look at those cards and see some information. Hornet Queen, a card that doesn't see a lot of play anymore in Standard. That's hiding out in Walker's deck, so got to be a little worried about that.
And the morph here from Patnode is Grim Horror Specs.
Oh, so perhaps we're going to draw a few cards. So every damage counts. Here come the beatdowns. There are the blocks, of course. Gonna unmorph Grim Horror Specs. There are cards to be drawn here for Nicholas Patnode. He's got to find it. The old rally. Draws 2. Collected Company and Mogus' Marauder.
Mogus' Marauder pairs up with some cards here for a kill as well.
It sure does. And it did not miss the Manifest. Looking for a white card. Here's Collected Company. Is there a way right now for Patnode to win? We're going to find out.
He's got Mogus Marauder.
Yeah.
Liliana,
Shaman's in there.
This is some. This on top of Mogus Marauder, I think, is enough to get it done.
I think you might be right. Here's Mogus Marauder. All these are going to get haste and intimidate.
Yeah, 3 attackers.
Well, intimidate says you can be blocked by.
Walker's at 3, and there's 3 creatures attacking against. Oh, excuse me. The green creature can still block.
Yeah, so the green creature can block, and then he can block a manifest. Can a manifest creature block an intimidate creature? Maybe I'm wrong about that. I think actually intimidate's that and artifact creatures. Excuse me, that's different. Okay, so Mogus Marauder are going to get the job done here for Nicholas Patnode. He does win game number 1 here over Austin Walker. Abzan Rally up a game over Green Red Devotion.
Yeah, Walker gave him there. I think Walker gave him an extra turn there.
He did.
That he didn't have to give him, and Patnode was able to capitalize.
To the sideboard we're going to go. We'll take a look at Austin Walker and his Devotion deck. You'll find 3 Nihilus Disciples, 2 Arbor Colossus, 2 Nissa World Waker, a See the Unwritten, a Gaia's Revenge, a Reclamation Sage, 2 Roast, 1 Crater's Claws, and then 2 Unravel the Aethers.
Not a lot to see here. I like the cards that allow Walker to win faster in games that aren't that interactive. I think the extra copy of Crater's Claws is good here. I like the copy of See the Unwritten, but all the cards that play to the board here are not very powerful. I guess the 2 copies of Roast is acceptable. Patnode plays enough random creatures, but Walker doesn't really want to play that long of a game or that controlling of a game because Patnode with Rally of the Ancestors just has a better trump, even if Walker is able to keep the board contained.
What do we see in Patnode's sideboard?
2 Dromoka's Commands, 4 Cleric of the Forward Order, 3 Thoughtseize, 3 NFNs of the Foremost, 2 copies of Murderous Cut, 1 Hidden Dragon Slayer. I think you're going to see the 2 Murderous Cuts, the Hidden Dragon Slayer, and maybe the Thoughtseizes come in.
I was looking for some more spice in the sideboard of the,
Not really.
the Rally deck.
The only spice, I guess, is Cleric of the Forward Order, but we see that card a reasonable amount in these kind of decks.
We saw Tickle playing those in Chicago.
Yeah, it's in competition with Arishan Cleric. Cleric probably worse when you're just casting it, but Cleric much more powerful when you're rallying back a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Well, these players will shuffle up here for game number 2. Nicholas Patnode up a game, which means Austin Walker will be on the play here for game number 2. We'll talk about the Season 4 schedule here on the Open Series, where last weekend in Cincinnati, Todd Anderson got the job done with Infect. That was his 23rd Open Series top 8 and his 6th Open Series win. Both records right now in the Open Series. Here in Worcester for some standard action. Next weekend we're in Milwaukee for the close of Theros Standard.
And then we're going to take a week off for the Born of Gods pre-releases, and then we'll be in Indianapolis, week 1 of the new standard format. After that, we're going to head to Atlanta, take a little time off, and Legacy in St. Louis. Modern will be in Dallas, then a Standard Open Series event in Philadelphia. After that, Grand Prix Atlanta, which we've unveiled the information about, November 13th through 15th. A Standard Open Series event in Kansas City, Legacy in New Jersey, a Standard Open in Denver, then the Season 4 Invitational, Las Vegas, Nevada, Standard in Modern as the Invitational formats with a 2-day, $20,000 Standard Open Series event. And then the week after that, Players Championship, Roanoke, Virginia, Star City Games headquarters, December 19th and 20th. That'll close out our year.
All these main events, of course, when you do sign up for them, you'll get the Hop and Rabbit Master play mat here for season number 4. Play on Goblin Rabble Master. It's available all the way up until December 5th. Limited, of course. You only get it if you enter main events.
Yes, but it will be available all the way through that Open Series event in Denver. So plenty of opportunities to get your hands on this all the way through December 5th. Free on-site for everyone who registers for one of our 2-day, $20,000 Standard Open Series event. Or, excuse me, any Open Series event.
And I'm actually pretty excited, too, about going back to Denver. Even though it's the last time that you can get this, it's the first time that we've been in Denver for the Open Series in about 3 years, and I've actually never done a show in Denver before.
I've never worked one. I've played in 1 or 2 events there, but I've never worked a show there.
I've played in two Grand Prix there. 2. Legacy and a Sealed.
I think I only played in the Legacy one.
And I actually like Denver as a city. Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
We're going to be going when it's cold, so that's not going to be great, but I guess we get to experience Denver for exactly what it is, which is cold in the wintertime.
It's a rough 3 or 4 months to get out there, but Denver's very nice.
Yeah. Maybe run into a player like good old Conley Woods.
Luis Scott Vargas, Patrick Chapin.
Yep.
A lot of the Direwolf guys out there.
Austin Walker will be on the play here for game number 2. Round number 7 here of the Open Series, if you are just joining us. Cedric Phillips, Patrick Sullivan, of course, Nick Miller in the sideboard. Doing your deck techs, picking your feature matches all weekend long, as Austin Walker will start off with a Forest. Patnode has a Forest as well, but his start's a little bit better than Austin's. He's got a Mana Accelerant there in Elvish Mystic. A Rattleclaw Mystic here for Walker will allow him to keep up. There's an Elvish Visionary here for Nicholas into Mana Confluence, and he'll pass the turn back.
Pretty stocked hand there for Patnode. A lot to do, some collected companies to play towards.
Courser of Krufix. Top card is Dragonlord Atarka. Is there a land to follow up? It appears that there is for Austin Walker. We'll go with a Wooded Foothills. Trigger the Courser, pass the turn back. We'll see if he wants to shuffle with the Foothills or not, as Dragonlord Atarka is actually a pretty powerful card in this matchup if you can get to it. Almost won him the game last game.
It's a very good clock, and that's something that Green Devotion needs in this matchup, because even with a lot of removal spells, they can't hold on to the game forever.
Grim Horrorspec's going to come down here for Patnode. Looks like he's having a few mana issues, so might just have to pass the turn back now. Maybe considering an attack, perhaps?
I think that he's better, sir. You know, he attacks Austin. Austin says no blocks. You get him for 1 point. Against someone at 21 with a Courser in play, that's not great. But the Elvish Visionary on defense now prevents Walker from attacking. Gives Patnode the time he needs to draw out of this. So I like hanging back.
Well, decided he did want to draw Dragonlord Atarka, and truthfully, it is pretty hard to pass that card up, so understandable.
With Patnode floundering a little bit, and you know, it could lead to a spot where all Patnode can really do is put creatures on the battlefield, and then Dragonlord Atarka gets everything.
Basic mountain here for Walker. Now, okay.
Jill Lissette style over here.
Okay, what do we think about this mountain?
It's not great.
What's that from?
revised.
Okay.
My first set.
Just sticks out like a sore thumb.
It's possible because, you know, there's one in the deck and you want to use foothills to go get it, that you want to put a white border one in so it's easier to spot. I don't buy it. I've heard this excuse before in the past.
As have I.
Just trying to give some people the benefit of the doubt over here, even though people rarely deserve it.
Personal feelings shining through the broadcast right now.
Ooh, Patnode got paid off.
Did get to draw a card.
I'm not a big fan of that attack there from Walker. If Walker's going to win this game, it's by overwhelming him at some point with Dragon Lord Atarka. Letting him draw cards when he's choked on mana, I don't think it's worth getting the Visionary off the table.
Well, he's worked his way into a land. And now Patnode will pass the turn back with Collected Company at the ready. Top card here for Walker is a See the Unwritten, so he'll draw that. You want to talk about a card that might be popular after rotation.
Yep.
There are Eldrazi's to find with that thing, my friend. Walker. Going to generate some mana for a Dragon Lord Atarka. It's time to clean this board up. Deal some damage here, a little damage there. Collected Company in response. See what Patnode's able to find. Satyr Wayfinder in there. And that's it.
Not a great Collecting Company.
Not at all. Wayfinder trigger. Take a look at the top four. Land of War Waste goes to the grip. Rest go to the graveyard. And those are going to die. He'll get to draw a card, though, from the Grim Horror Specs.
Graveyard's getting stocked up here. The concern for Patnode is he just doesn't get that many more turns.
Yep. With the board that Austin Walker has accumulated, I don't know how many more turns of this game Nick's going to get to play. Was able to steal the last game. There's a block very quickly, so perhaps he's setting something up. I just don't know how much time he actually has to set it up.
I mean, next turn, his best case scenario is, you know, rally for 2, but his cards that matter are 3, so rally is not that helpful.
Patnode was going to draw. Land of War Waste is the land. He's staring at lethal this turn.
Yeah, the issue is even if he collected, you know, Patnode's line I think that he would like from here is Collected Company for 2 chump blockers, untap, rally for 3, and kill you somehow. But I don't think he can. I think that if he Collected Companies into just 2 chump blockers here, he dies if Austin just goes attack you with everything.
Yeah.
Because he can block Whisperwood plus another 2-power creature, and I believe that's 14 coming across from all of Austin's other threats.
Even an Ugin in hand right now for Austin Walker. He has it all. Coming into the red zone. Looks like he's going to hang back with 1 Manifest. Here comes Collected Company.
This play is dangerous. I mean, we saw this before where Walker was not aggressive enough, gave Patnode an extra turn, and Patnode killed him.
Yeah.
With 2 chump blockers here, 10 still comes across, so Walker can kill him with a post-combat Ugin.
Patnode really deciding here. There's an Nantuko Husk, Elvish Visionary, Sylvan Caryatid, quite a few cards in there. Looks like he's going to go with the Husk and the Caryatid.
So Patnode falling to 3 here, I still think Ugin gets it done.
Should be plenty of mana to cast it. Nykthos will generate a mana advantage. And now here is Ugin, and we're going upstairs with that, and that should finish things off here. And it does. So Austin Walker is going to win game number 2 here over Nicholas Patnode. Green Red Devotion, Abzan Rally getting ready here for game number 3. And that's what Green Red Devotion wants to do. That's a classic Green Red Devotion game.
Well, Walker getting a pretty fast start that involves one of his good mid-range threats in Whisperwood Elemental playing towards Dragon Lord Atarka is a good recipe. Now, Patnode missed some land drops there, and if Patnode's able to hang back and chump block and build up his graveyard, a rally for 3 can still kill Walker even with the start that Walker had, but Patnode missed some land drops and was just short on resources there to be able to execute any sort of kill.
He had that one hiccup with that turn without finding a land. Would have worked himself in Eclectic Company a little bit earlier and a bevy of other things, but that hiccup cost him. But he'll be on the play here for game number 3, which is a world of difference for his deck.
Yes.
And you have to imagine in the matchup as well. So these players will shuffle up and get ready to go. We're going to talk about the Star City Games newsletter right now. It's your source for Magic the Gathering news. It has been revamped, and best of all, it's free to sign up for.
Yeah, all the best information about Star City Games, both the website and the events of the Open Series, are cultivated here in the newsletter. You get all the information about the goings-on of the Open Series, including a match of the week for you to watch. You get exclusive deck lists and advice from some of the premium columnists, and a free exclusive cardboard crack comic. Best of all, signing up for all of this is free over starcitygames.com/newsletter.
Right now, our columnist that is being featured, Gerard Fabiano, G-Fabs himself.
Very popular.
Absolutely. Loves to brew, and if you're looking for sweet brews, especially with Battle for Zendikar, starcitygames.com/newsletter.
So I've worked with Gerard for various Pro Tours and Grand Prix and so forth. He always has the right cards week 1. Whether or not they're in the right deck, that's a totally different conversation. But Gerard has some of the best instincts that I've ever seen when it comes to identify the best card or the most influential card in the new set.
He picked up on Seder Wayfinder before basically anybody did. Really notable to me.
There's a lot of, I'm going to date myself with some of the Pro Tour references here, some of the Grand Prix references, but if you're looking for someone's advice for what's the best card or the card I should be trying to build around week 1 of a new standard format, Gerard is better than anyone else that I've worked with. And I've worked with some really good people.
The magical mind, Gerard Fabiano. He found really the best home for Dig Through Time in Standard earlier this year in that Sultai Control deck.
First to market on Cabal Therapy, first to market on Explosive Vegetations and Onslaught Block Constructed, first to market on a lot of cards. Like I said, can't say anything about the deck, but the card, he's got the right card.
Both players are going to start off with an Elvish Mystic. Caryatid, Sansep Citadel for Patnode, pass the turn back, ramping up beautifully. Going to have to work his way towards Eclectic Company now. Austin Walker, he's the more traditional of the 2 ramp decks. What kind of ramping does he have? He's got a Morph. It's a Rattleclaw Mystic, which can ramp quite a bit. So, Patnode, what can you do? Patnode looks like he can play a Seder Wayfinder. So, let's take a look at those top 4 cards. He'll take an Urborg. That'll be the land for the turn. The follow-up, Fleshbag Marauder.
Oh, beautiful. Using every part of the Buffalo. Gets the land off the Wayfinder, sacks it to the Fleshbag Marauder.
Elvish Mystic bites the dust there for Walker. It's a great start here for Patnode.
Beautiful.
Rattleclaw Mystic will be unmorphed, so there'll be a surge in mana here. Now here's Pelucranos. And pass the turn back. Patnode will draw. Picked up a Mana Confluence. And there's an Elvish Mystic. Draw a card. Liliana. Will be cast now.
So Patnode not really getting much velocity with his graveyard right now. It has Rally in hand, but he's doing a lot of good value generation on the board.
Here come the attacks. Patnode going to come with Elvish Mystic and a Fleshback Marauder, almost daring Austin to block so that Patnode can flip over Liliana. Trying to grow the graveyard.
Savvy attack here from Patnode. He even has an attack on the way back covered, even if Walker to say no blocks, untap, fight your Visionary with Pelucranos. That triggers Liliana and generates a token, which then can jump block the Pelucranos for a turn, allowing Patnode to do something with the Liliana. Very sharp attack.
See how Nick wants to use Liliana now that it's flipped. Gonna take it down, get back to their Wayfinder, work towards building a bigger graveyard.
Yeah, with Rally in hand, the priority right now for Patnode is just stock up the graveyard.
Yep. Shaman of the Pack, Hellish Visionary. Those have gone down there. A land was found with a Seder Wayfinder. For Patnode, does have a copy of Rally of the Ancestors in hand. We have not seen it being cast in this match just yet.
I got a feeling it's coming up in this game.
I think you're right. Temple. See where that top card goes. Gonna stay on top here for Austin Walker. Walker unsure what the follow-up is. Oddly enough, even though it's Pelucranos in the battlefield, there's not a lot of mana to work with.
The problem right now is that I don't think that Walker can win this game by managing the board at this stage or damage racing. He's just got to get to a trump as soon as possible. So using Pelucranos to fight something this turn, I just don't think that's a very good use of resources. I think he's better served just getting more mana into play, getting towards something like Dragonlord, Atarka, Whisperwood Elemental, something like that.
Well, there's a chump block. Just looking to build up a bigger graveyard for Rally.
And Patnode is close enough to being able to rally at this point just because enough Visionaries, Wayfinders, and Shamans are in the graveyard where you can just do a little value rally here.
Carry added, pass the turn back. Patnode will draw. Another rally. Liliana's going to go up, make both players discard. Patnode very ready to discard. Mana Confluence, Genesis Hydra, the respective discards for each player. Patnode coming on in. This one's basically a freebie, this attack. I like it.
Yeah, and Patnode is valuing these chip shots at this point very highly because he's setting up a non-infinite kill right now via Shaman and a bunch of elves in the graveyard.
Forest the land here for Walker. 6 mana. It'll be a See the Unwritten with Ferocious. Well, okay then.
This is exciting.
This could be anything. Top 7 gets to take 2. Assuming he hits 2. Or excuse me, top 8, pardon me. 7 is dig through time, 8 is See the Unwritten. This could be real disappointing too. Oh no. Oh no. Oh boy. Oh.
That's the worst See the Unwritten I've ever seen.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That is, if we had a sad trombone sound effect that we could pump in right now, we'd be doing it.
Somebody call Xavier Woods. We need the trombone right now.
That is, whew. That's tough.
Horrible.
That's tough.
That's horrible.
Can't even give Walker a courser, huh?
No.
Just nothing.
I was so excited.
Dragonlord Atarka plus anything. That Walker has this game completely swung around. Instead, that.
Yeah.
Whatever that was.
Yeah. Worst of SCG Live.
Yeah, that's saddest moments.
Well, now Patnode doesn't even need to cast Rally of the Ancestors, which is what he was setting up because See the Unwritten missed so bad.
So Patnode is holding off on Rally right now because he doesn't have a sacrifice outlet and Rally exiles. So he doesn't want to just get his graveyard back into play, not kill Walker, and then exile his whole graveyard and then have a leftover Rally. He can value Rally, and it's not bad in this spot. He does draw a bunch of cards and deal some damage, but it's probably short of killing Walker unless Patnode draws very well, so he's hoping to have a little bit more insurance. In the meantime, Patnode can just keep chipping away this way. These little hits, they add up.
Well, we'll see what's next here for Nicholas in just a moment. You see the attack. That part's pretty straightforward. We'll see what happens after that, though. Walker definitely taking a look at the graveyard to see what's the worst thing that can happen. Besides, bricking on See the Unwritten. Polukranos is going to block the zombie. It looks like Elvish Visionary is going to jump in front of the Fleshbag Marauder.
I'm not sure if Walker could really afford to let the Fleshbag Marauder go off the table. I guess at some point he just has to block because he can't afford to keep taking this damage. But
yeah.
Fleshbag Marauder is very potent to get back with Liliana that you're seeing right now, and also very potent to get back with Rally.
Yep. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen right now. This will be a rally.
With the Marauder dead, this rally for value might do enough that even though Patnode can't sacrifice it, this is going to do too much damage to Walker.
I mean, this rally right now is going to kill Walker's entire board, right? Because Fleshbag's going to come back. It'll kill something. He can sacrifice Fleshbag Marauder to itself, which will flip Liliana. If Liliana will get a zombie token, then you get back Fleshbag again.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it kills the entire board. This rally of the Ancestors is insane. And he also draws 3 cards.
Yes. So I think that Patnode was trying to wait until he had a husk or some way to get his graveyard back in. But this is just too juicy to pass up. He's going to draw a bunch of cards, deal a bunch of damage, kill everything Walker has.
There's the 3 cards drawn. Cash it in. Bring it back. Sacrifice probably something else since that'll hang around, but sacrificing that is fine too. And pass the turn back. There was also a Shaman of the Pack hanging out in there too. That domed Walker for quite a bit. That's why he's down to 7. And Green-Red Devotion is getting neutralized here.
I think Patnode did a very good job of putting Walker in the squeeze there. Walker couldn't really afford to keep taking the 3 from the Fleshbag Marauder, but the minute that Walker traded and put the Marauder in the graveyard, Patnode was able to rally, generate a lot of value. Even though it's not lethal and he's going to lose all this stuff on the way back, it's still more than enough value to justify casting a rally.
That's an Elvish Mystic. That's a simple turn. A lot of stuff's going to bite the dust here. Going to float 2 green will Patnode with the Exile trigger on the stack. That might be to just cast Collective Company right now. That's exactly what it's going to be because he can hit Husk.
Yep. And Husk allows him to sacrifice everything.
And he did hit Husk. So very nice sequencing here from Nicholas Patnode.
Oh, and a Grim Horror Specs to boot. Okay.
No, this deck looks good. It looks really good.
Ow. Eat it all.
Draw yourself some cards, Nicholas Patnode. You deserve it. 6 of them. And go to the draw step. Because, sure, why not? Another card would be nice. A land for the turn. It's a forest here.
I mean, he can rally for 3 again. So that should do it.
I think that might be a W.
He's got Shaman, a bunch of elves. He's got attackers left over too.
Very true. There is the Rally Ancestors. And that is going to do it. Nicholas Patnode going to win this match here over Austin Walker, 2-1. Obs on Rally, looking very impressive here over Green-Red Devotion. And for Patnode, he moves on to 6-1.
You saw the winning recipe there for Walker almost happened in game 1, happened in game 2, which is Mana Acceleration into Dragon Lord Atarka as fast as possible. But Walker's other measures of trying to hold on to the game with normal creatures and things like Polukranos, it's not good enough. He's going to be taking damage the whole time. He has no way to shut out the graveyard. It's very hard for him to kill quickly without Dragon Lord Atarka, and so you saw that.